and good evening. Welcome to tonight's sleep story. My name is Jeffrey. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through tonight's sleep story. The title of tonight's story is The Lanterns of Evermere. As we prepare for tonight's story, allow yourself to settle into that comfy bed. Take a deep breath in and out. It's time to relax. The day is done. There's nowhere else you need to be other than right here. There's nothing else left to do but to relax. Allow me to set the stage for tonight's story. Imagine a quiet, cobblestone town nestled in the bend of a slow-moving river. Evermere is a place that feels timeless. Its streets lit by soft lanterns that glow golden in the evening light. The air carries the scent of freshly baked bread, rain-soaked stone, and blooming flowers from the window boxes that line the houses. Tonight, you're a traveler arriving in Evermere. You're drawn by its warm charm and the promise of rest. Here, every corner holds a story. Every street whispers with quiet history, and every moment feels as if it was made to soothe and comfort. Let's take a step onto the cobblestones of Evermere and begin. Take a deep breath in and out. Chapter 1. Arriving at the town gate. Our story begins with you walking through a tall, sturdy, wrought iron gate that marks the entrance to Evermere. The gate has a feeling of grandness, to be sure. It's adorned with climbing ivy, its leaves rustling softly in the breeze. Beyond it, the cobblestoned streets stretch gently downhill, lined with old stone buildings whose windows glow warmly from within. The sound of the river reaches your ears first, a steady, soothing murmur. Above, the sky is painted in soft shades of pink and lavender, the last light of day giving way to twilight. Lanterns begin to flicker on one by one, their golden light casting long, inviting shadows on the streets. A horse-drawn carriage passes by, the quiet clatter of hooves on stone blending with the distant hum of conversation. The air is cool but not cold, carrying with it the faint scent of wood smoke and something sweet, perhaps caramel from a nearby shop. You feel a deep sense of calm as you step further into the town, letting its warmth envelop you like an old familiar blanket. Chapter 2. Exploring the Market Square. The path leads you to the heart of Evermere, the market square. At its center stands an old fountain, its stone worn smooth by time. Water flows gently from the fountain's spouts, sparkling in the glow of the lanterns that hang overhead. The sound is soothing, blending with the quiet murmur of the few remaining shopkeepers closing up for the night. You wander through the square, stopping to admire the small stalls still open. One stall offers handmade candles, their soft scents filling the air: lavender, vanilla, and pine. Another displays rows of polished wooden toys, their surfaces smooth and warm to the touch. In the corner of the square, a baker's shop is still open, its windows fogged with warmth. You step inside briefly, greeted by the scent of freshly baked bread and spiced pastry. The baker, a kind older woman with flour-dusted hands, smiles and offers you a small roll. You thank her and leave, the warmth of the bread in your hand matching the warmth in your heart. Chapter 3: The Riverside Path. As twilight deepens, you find yourself drawn to the riverside path that winds gently along the water's edge. The river moves slowly, its surface reflecting the soft light of the lanterns strung along the path. You walk quietly, the cobblestones beneath your feet cool and smooth. The sound of the river is steady and calming, a gentle murmur that seems to carry the town's story. Along the way, you pass small benches where townsfolk sit, speaking in hushed tones or simply gazing at the water. A few children skip stones, their laughter soft and sweet. You pause at a bench to rest, watching as a family of ducks paddles by. The scene feels timeless, as though nothing here has changed in centuries. The river seems to hum with a quiet magic, wrapping you in its serenity. Chapter 4: The Lantern Maker's Workshop. Continuing along the path, you notice a small, glowing shop tucked just off the street. The sign above the door reads, "The Lantern Maker." Drawn by its warmth, you step inside. The workshop is filled with lanterns of every shape and size. Glass globes that sparkle like stars, intricate metalwork that casts delicate patterns of light, and simple wooden frames that glow with a warm, golden hue. The air smells of beeswax and metal polish, and the sound of a small bell tinkles softly as the door closes behind you. The Lantern Maker, a gentle man with silver hair and kind eyes, greets you. He shows you how each lantern is crafted with care, and you watch as he places a tiny glowing wick into a new creation. These lanterns are more than just light, he says softly. They hold the stories of Evermere. You leave the workshop with a small lantern of your own, its light steady and comforting in your hand. Chapter 5. The Hidden Garden. As you walk further into town, you come upon a narrow alleyway lined with ivy-covered wall. At its end, a wooden gate stands ajar, inviting you to step inside. On the other side, you find a hidden garden, its paths lined with soft grass and its corners lit by tiny twinkling lights. The garden is peaceful, its air filled with the scent of jasmine and blooming roses. A stone bench sits beneath a willow tree whose branches gently sway in the breeze. You sit there for a while, listening to the quiet hum of crickets and the soft rustle of leaves. The garden feels like a secret meant just for you, a place where time stands still. Chapter 6. The Bell Tower. The sound of a bell draws you from the garden. You follow its chime to the town's bell tower, a tall structure that stands proudly at the edge of the square. Its stone steps spiral upward, inviting you to climb. As you ascend, the town below comes into view, its rooftops glowing in the soft light of the lanterns. The river winds gently through the landscape, and in the distance, the hills fade into the twilight. At the top of the tower, you stand in quiet awe, feeling the cool breeze and the steady rhythm of the bell's chimes. Chapter 7. The Inn by the Bridge. Feeling the pull of rest, you make your way to the town's inn, a cozy building nestled beside an old stone bridge. Its windows glow warmly, and the soft music drifts from inside. The innkeeper welcomes you with a smile, showing you to a small but comfortable room. The room is simple but inviting, with a soft bed, a thick quilt, and a window that overlooks the river. You sit by the window for a while, watching the lanterns reflect on the water, their light flickering like tiny stars. Chapter 8. A quiet dinner at the inn. After settling into your room, you head downstairs to the inn's dining room. A small, cozy space with low wooden beams and walls lined with bookshelves and framed paintings of the town. A fire crackles softly in the stone hearth, casting a warm glow over the room. The scent of freshly baked bread, roasted vegetables, and spiced tea fills the air. You find a table near the fire, where a kind innkeeper serves you a simple but hearty meal. A bowl of warm stew, soft rolls, and a slice of apple tart with a drizzle of honey are placed before you. As you eat, you listen to the gentle murmur of voices from other guests. Their tones are soft and familiar, blending into the background like a lullaby. The warmth of the food and the quiet comfort of the inn fill you with a sense of peace. Chapter 9. A Starry Stroll. After dinner, you feel drawn back outside to take one last walk through the town. The air is cool and crisp, carrying with it the faint scent of wood smoke and the distant murmur of the river. Above, the sky is a canvas of deep indigo, scattered with countless stars that twinkle like tiny lanterns. The cobblestone streets are quiet now, the shops closed and their windows dark, but the lanterns continue to glow, casting soft light on the stones. As you walk, your footsteps echo faintly, their rhythm matching the gentle sway of the lanterns in the breeze. You make your way back to the bridge, leaning against its stone railing to watch the river. Its surface reflects the stars, creating a shimmering path of light that seems to stretch endlessly into the distance. For a moment, you feel as though time has paused and the world exists only in this moment of perfect stillness. Chapter 10. The Stories of Evermere. Returning to your room, you notice a small leather-bound journal resting on the bedside table. Its cover is worn well but cared for, with a title embossed in gold: The Stories of Evermere. You settle into the chair by the window, opening the journal to its first page. Inside, the stories are written in a looping, elegant script, each one telling a tale of the town's history. One story speaks to the bell tower, built long ago by a family of craftsmen who dreamed of connecting the stars and the earth. Another describes the lantern maker, whose ancestors carried their glowing creations across mountains to bring light to Evermere. As you read, the stories feel alive, as though the town itself is sharing its memories with you. The words flow gently, their rhythm soothing, until you feel your eyes grow heavy. Chapter 11. Settling in for the night. The room is warm and inviting, with the soft light of the bedside lantern casting gentle shadows on the wall. You wrap yourself in the thick quilt, its fabric heavy and comforting, and sink into the softness of the bed. The faint scent of lavender lingers in the air, and the distant murmur of the river drifts through the window, blending with the occasional creak of the inn's wooden beams. You close your eyes, letting the stillness of the room wrap around you. Each breath feels slower, deeper and deeper, as though the town itself is guiding you into rest. The warmth of the quilt, the glow of the lantern, and the steady rhythm of the river lull you into peace. Chapter 12. The Lanterns of Dreams. The lantern by your bedside glows softly, its light steady and golden. It flickers faintly, as though it holds the heartbeat of the town. As you drift toward sleep, the light seems to expand, wrapping you in its gentle glow. In your mind, the lantern's light becomes the glow of the town itself. The flickering lanterns along the streets, the warm lights of the inn, and the soft shimmering of the river. Evermere fades into the background, but its peace and warmth linger, carrying you into deep, restful dreams. Good night.